Fiona Harari's compelling piece in the Weekend-Australian this weekend examined foreign interference in Australia in a new light. Since the crackdown in Iran began with the death of Mahsa Amini, Iranian-Australians have been faced with considerable uncertainty and fear, not just about the treatment of relatives in Iran, but also about their own safety here in Australia. The formidable Senator Clare Chandler chaired a Senate committee on Foreign Affairs, Defence and Trade that examined this very issue. She described genuine fear in the Australian-Iranian community about the reach of the regime onto Australian shores. The examples provided are pretty shocking. ASIO now rates foreign interference as an even more present risk to Australia than terrorism. The Senate committee found Iranian-Australians live in a near constant state of worry, unable to contact family and friends in Iran to know that they are safe. There can scarcely be a more concerning form of foreign interference than a hostile foreign government making direct threats to Australian citizens. Now, just a few years ago, similar sentiments became known among Chinese Australians who faced the monitoring of their public statements, especially if they were critical of the Chinese Communist Party, and threats to relatives in mainland China arising from behaviour in Australia. It's a persistent problem arising from authoritarian and despotic regimes. Masood Madaba's experience, he's a Melbourne-based software engineer and an Australian citizen, was one of arriving in Australia 8 years ago from Iran. For 7.5 years, he says he felt really safe until 5 months ago. He says then everything changed. He joined rallies in Melbourne and Canberra and was alarmed to find that a security guard was saying, "There's a guy that's been filming you for 3 days straight." Following that, his mother was seized at her workplace in Tehran and taken to the dreaded Evin prison. Over 4 weeks in solitary confinement, she was interrogated for up to 14 hours at a time. For those Australians who live in this fear, there can seem to be few avenues available for help. It's time for Home Affairs Minister Clare O'Neil to show Australians that she is prepared to robustly act to stop agents from other countries acting to intimidate Australians and ensure that there are consequences that flow. It's also vital that there be a really clear pathway for Australians to get the help and protection they need when they face, as members of the diaspora, threats and intimidation from people from their country of origin. The AFP does good investigation work here, but we also need to provide proactive pathways for people to find the help they need. If this is a country that values free speech and the right to protest, that kind of protection is non-negotiable.